Happening now, Jamestown police have announced the newest member of their force. Plus, what caused last night's power outage here in Jamestown? The details next.
And we have another day of sunshine, but we do need the rain. Is there any rain in sight? I've got the details next as the news at noon starts now.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
And thanks for joining us for WNY News Now. On this Wednesday, I'm Justin Gould. A large section of the Jamestown Board of Public Utilities electric territory was without power for a period last night. Jamestown BPU Communications Coordinator Becky Robbins tells us the outage started at 9:30, impacting the northern and southeastern sections of the city, including areas near Fluvanna, Camp Street, Willard Street, Swanson Road, Crescent Street, Hebner Heights, and the village of Falconer. Now, crews believe an underground electrical cable in the vicinity of Blackstone Avenue failed and caused a breaker to trip at the Dow Street substation, triggering that outage. Now, at 11:30, crews worked to find a fault in the cable and restore power to a small area near Blackstone. Now, this morning, crews were back out early working to make those repairs. The outage also caused the Casadega water pump station to temporarily shut down, stirring the water and resulting in discoloration system-wide. That water is expected to clear within the next 12 to 24 hours, although customers are advised to not do their laundry until it is clear. Well, police here are continuing to search for a missing 14-year-old who likely ran away from home earlier this year. Police say Gianna Coleman has been missing since February 13th of this year. Coleman, police say, has been reported missing multiple times over the past year, including last October. She has reportedly been in contact with her family on a daily basis via social media and is believed to be somewhere in the Jamestown area. Anyone who may know the whereabouts of the missing teen is asked to contact Jamestown Police at 716-483-7537. The number again is 716-483-7537. Well, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is calling on all Americans to wear face coverings to help slow the spread of COVID-19, but getting children to do so is often easier said than done. Our Mandy Gaither has 5 ways to help kids get ready to go back to school this fall and wear their mask.
Whether it's getting them on or keeping them on, kids and face coverings aren't an easy mix.
We need to have realistic expectations with kids.
Therapist Jody Baumstein with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Strong for Life says there are 5 things that can help. First, have a simple and age-appropriate conversation with your child.
Just being really honest with them and encouraging them to do it by talking about the benefits rather than persuading them or forcing them.
Second, make them part of the process. Allow them to choose their mask or decorate it.
That helps them get excited about it. It gives them a sense of ownership.
Third, let them practice wearing and putting on a face covering.
Give them fabric and let them put masks on stuffed animals and try to just have fun with it. Don't take it too seriously.
Fourth, give gentle reminders, not just verbally. Let them see you wearing a mask.
That helps them realize that this is something you take seriously and you're really consistent with it.
Finally, know your child. Ask open-ended questions to understand why they might have trouble wearing a mask.
Just validate their concern, really let them know you understand, and then work with them on problem solving around it.
For today's Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
All right, Mandy, great tips. Thank you. The therapist says that parents of young children can also make masks fun by allowing their child to also put on a cape and become a superhero, or even let them pretend that the mask makes them a doctor or a nurse. Well, the Jamestown Police Department welcomed the newest member of their team this week, a police K-9 named in memory of Callie Swan. This morning, the department announced Officer Cal joined the force on Monday. Now, Cal is a 13-month-old all-black German Shepherd who will start training in Syracuse next week. Canine Officer Eric Kraft tells WNY News Now the school is like a police training academy. Kraft says Canine Cal is very similar to his past partner, Canine Brumber, who suddenly passed away last month.
The dog is considered a green dog, so he has very, very little training. So I'm going to be training him along with a master canine trainer, and we'll be going through a patrol school certified in the state of New York, starting from scratch. It does remind me a lot of my former partner, Canine Promber. He's just very sociable and has all the drives that I'm looking for as a dual-purpose canine for patrol and narcotics detection.
Now, Kraft says in total he looked at 10 different canines, but Cal stuck out the most. Sometime in November, Kraft and Canine Cal are expected to start patrol before returning for more training in narcotics detection. Now, Cal is named in memory of 4-year-old Callie Swan, who passed away from acute lymphoblastic leukemia in May 2015. Callie, whose dad is a Jamestown police sergeant, inspired a community to fight like a girl against pediatric cancer and launching the non-for-profit group called Callie's Crusade. Certainly a great way to honor an amazing little girl that I think now, even years later, still touch so many people in the community. I drive around and every now and again then see those orange lights that they sold as a benefit to show the community was standing with Callie, still shining strong. And every year around Labor Day, they have a huge fundraiser that helps so many people in need. And welcome to the force, Canine Cal. It'll be great to see him out there doing his stuff on the streets. Hopefully everybody is having a great Wednesday, and we thank you so much for joining us here for WNY News Now. Let's check in with the comments and say hello to Kyle. Good to see Jody as well. Carrie, Sherry, and Gwen are here. Happy Wednesday to all of you. Great to have Scott, Raymond, Pam, Joseph, David. Good afternoon to you. He says, welcome to Cal, the new police doggy. Good to see Samantha, Lori, and Wallace. Good afternoon to you. Hopefully you're having a good day. Let's switch gears now and get a check of our first defense weather forecast. That's where we find Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter. And certainly, Dakota, Cal has some pretty big shoes to fill regarding police canines. We've had some really, really great names. And in the conversation I had with Canine Officer Kraft this morning, he says he tries not to compare too much to past canines, but with
Right.
Promber's sudden death, he says he really, really feels like Cal is the next best choice to move forward, and he should be a great addition to the force.
Mm-hmm. And something I'm not sure, something I'm not sure that some of our viewers know. We're actually a proud supporter of course, the what is it? The
Callie's Crusade.
Yes,
Yeah.
we are. We
Anytime
actually
we can
have the ribbon on our door here in our
Yeah.
office. So.
Yeah,
Mhm.
from
when you
the
come
many,
into our
many years
building
ago.
and you come into our door, we have the the Crusade ribbon on our door.
And Dakota, the thing is, it's like when you look at something like that, it was such a tragic event. And in fact, I personally was one of the reporters who covered this story firsthand back when she was diagnosed and the community came together, and then ultimately when she passed away. And I think her story is so powerful because it brought so many people together. And it united everyone. And I think going forward many, many years later, that sentiment is still very much strong. You see it every year, and they now do a great work in Callie's honor to help families just like hers, who unfortunately heard the news that their child had cancer. So it's certainly.
I mean, cancer itself is awful, but childhood cancer is just that's got to be one of the worst.
Oh my God, yeah, and the thing that I clearly remember talking with Callie's family was the fact that her mother and father and friends and neighbors were like, why Callie? So young. That's the hardest part, I think, about it, is it's such a tough thing to go through for anybody, but especially children. And I think to this day, it's still so hard why God chose her. Why'd she have to die from it? And But nevertheless, it's great to see Jamestown Police keeping that memory alive for many years, hopefully, with the new K9. And it's great to see. And, I think that's the sense of community, right? Is when you look at policing, especially here, it's how do they connect with the community, and this is just one of the many great ways for that. So let's get to weather, because the producer's like, we have talked too long.
Yes. We went on a tangent. They're yelling in our ears.
Good tangent, though.
Yes, but it was a good tangent, though. 79 in Warren right now over the Warren City Bank. So, again, it's going to be a dry day today. It was breezy yesterday. These were the peak wind gusts, 28 at Dunkirk, 21 in Jamestown. So not as windy as it could have been. But, boy, the wind gusts yesterday certainly did help you out at least a little bit to help you make you feel just a little bit cooler. First Defense Doppler radar dry. Not going to spend time on it. We could look at that all day long, and it's going to show the exact same thing. Nothing. 79 was the high yesterday, but it felt a lot warmer than that when you added in, of course, all the sticky humidity. We started the day at 59, not too far from the averages. 94 back in 1988 was the record high for this day. So through the afternoon, lots of sunshine, less humid. You're welcome. Your clothes are not going to stick to you this afternoon. Not as breezy, 77 to 83, but we're going to continue the comfort factor into tomorrow. Then we crank the humidity up again, then maybe some rain, which we need by the weekend. We'll talk about it in a few. Justin?
All right, Dakota, thank you. Several out-of-state teens led sheriff deputies on a vehicle pursuit through parts of Chautauqua County overnight Tuesday. Deputies say at around 2:45 in the morning, they observed a vehicle speeding on routes 5 and 20 in the town of Hanover. They attempted a vehicle stop, but that's when the vehicle sped off heading west. The chase continued through the towns of Hanover, village of Silver Creek, town of Sheridan, city of Dunkirk, towns of Dunkirk, Pomfret, Portland, and then finally into Westfield. Now, in Westfield, that's where sheriff's deputies deployed spike strips, which flattened the front tires, causing the chase to come to an end. Now, inside the car, believe it or not, 6 teenagers ranging from the ages of 14 to 17 and they were brought to the sheriff's office in Mayville, where they were eventually met up with their family. Deputies say the adolescent offenders driving the vehicle were charged. One of the teens was reportedly a runaway from Pittsburgh, and they were turned over to custody there. All others were not charged and released to their family. Luckily, no injuries occurred in the incident. Deputies say the owner of the vehicle has been contacted and will be picking it up later this month. Well, Chautauqua County's executive says he's pleased to hear Ohio has been removed from New York State's COVID-19 travel advisory list. Executive P.J. Wendell says because of Ohio's proximity to Chautauqua County, tourists from that state contribute greatly to the local economy here. He says during recent control room meetings, he discussed at length the impact of Ohio's restricted state status on this region, and that since it's been removed from the list, the county is finally one step closer to rebuilding its economy. That travel advisory first went into effect back on June 25th. New York State's Department of Health interim guidance from those who travel from within a state designated to have a significant transmission rate of COVID-19 are required to quarantine upon entry to New York for 14 days. Well, coming up next, why the state is fighting a court ruling that has okayed 50% wedding venue capacity. And later, how one of the area's most popular coffee chains is raising money to help kids in need today. Stay with us as WNY News Now continues.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
I grew up in a single-parent home. We were raised by my mom in a one-bedroom apartment in Queens, and I slept in what was supposed to be a dining room just off the kitchen. We were poor and fell behind in our bills. More than once, our electricity was shut off and there were eviction notices taped to our door. I remember walking into our kitchen and finding my mother standing by the stove, crying to herself because she didn't know what to do and felt helpless. I was about 9 or 10 when our apartment was robbed. I remember arriving home with my mother and brother and finding the door open, feeling confused because the first thing I saw was that our television, a set which forever sat on a stand in the living room, was missing. I know firsthand what it's like to be a victim, to be assaulted, robbed, to have things taken from you which you're never going to get back, and to be scarred by experiences which 30 and 40 years later still haunt me. We're lucky enough to live in Chautauqua County where by and large we feel safe, but unfortunately bad things do happen here. I want to be the district attorney who personally prosecutes the most serious crimes and who's there for victims every step of the way. These are the people I want to represent, to fight for their justice, to fight for our justice in the courtroom, to help people who have suffered at the hands of others. This is why I want to be your district attorney.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
And welcome back. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo's administration plans to fight a court ruling that said that limits on the size of parties for weddings or reception violated the U.S. Constitution. A couple sued to have their wedding in Akron with more than the 50 people allowed under Governor Cuomo's executive order. They say the rules of reduced capacity for a restaurant should have applied to their big day.
The governor laid out his argument very clearly on the difference between attending a wedding versus going to a restaurant, and we're going to continue to pursue that in court. Our objective is to protect New Yorkers from the spread of infection.
Now, a federal judge in Syracuse issued a preliminary injunction against the state and county. The ruling allows wedding reception halls to operate at the same level of service as a restaurant would, which is 50% capacity for indoor dining. The state's initial order only allowed up to 50 people to attend a wedding. Well, it's official. Presumptive Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden has chosen his running mate and is making history in the process. Whitney Wild is at the White House with the latest.
After months of anticipation,
I would pick a woman to be my vice president.
presumptive Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden has tapped California Senator Kamala Harris as the woman to help him win and run the White House, calling Harris a fearless fighter for the little guy and one of the country's finest public servants. The decision is historic. Harris is the first woman of color to appear on a major party ticket. Harris made waves last year when she jumped into the 2020 presidential race. Though ultimately failing to gain traction, she briefly led the pack after a strong debate performance, notably against Joe Biden.
Do you agree today that you were wrong to oppose busing in America then?
No.
Do you agree?
I did not oppose busing in America.
President Trump seizing on that moment, previewing some of the attacks to come.
She said things during the debates, during the Democrat primary debates, that were horrible about Sleepy Joe.
But for many Democrats looking for generational change and diversity on the ticket, Harris is the key to victory in November.
We need this ticket in America. We need to show to America that our president will value diversity. And there's no better representative than Senator Harris.
Biden and Harris will make their first public appearance together on Wednesday in Wilmington, Delaware. At the White House, I'm Whitney Wild.
All right, Whitney, thank you. Meanwhile, the two released their first campaign ad as a ticket yesterday. At the start of the ad, Biden asks Harris if she's ready to go to work. Harris responds she's so ready. Harris goes on to highlight her story and life. The pair, as Whitney mentioned, are set to hold a joint campaign appearance in Biden's home today. Well, get ready for an all-natural light show in the night sky with the Perseid meteor shower. It's considered the Northern Hemisphere's most popular meteor shower of the year, and this year it's been pretty active, starting back in July. but it's set to peak this evening. Now, if you can't get out and have a look, you may still be able to catch a glimpse of the meteors the following 2 nights. Now, the meteors are caused by dust and debris left behind from the tail of the comet Swift-Tuttle. So if you can, get out and check it out. Of course, Dakota's been keeping us in the know about pretty much everything that happens on the sky and everything that falls from it, too. Let's check in with the comments and say hello to John. Thanks so much for joining us today. Good to see you. Good to see Trisha, Patty, Robert, Mike, and Bobby as well. Hopefully you're having a good day. Good afternoon to Alex. Thanks so much for tuning in. Good to see Jay as always. Thank you for joining us. Kelly and Raymond, good afternoon to both of you. Thanks for being here. Well, speaking of looking up at the sky, let's get a check of it with Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter. And Mr. Hunter, it's going to be a really, really cool night. And really, the last couple of nights, we've had some pretty good sunsets across much of the area, too.
We have, and yesterday was no exception. Sean Sweatman, who pilots our Storm Interceptor, of course, took a magnificent shot from Celeron. This is the Celeron Lighthouse overlooking Chautauqua Lake. How about that? Sean takes some of the best pictures we have around here. So, I mean, also check out his book, which is, I believe it's called Chautauqua Sunsets. You can get it at Barnes & Noble. Yes, it's right here. Our producers just handed it to me right here. This is what you look for right here by our own Sean Sweatman. Go and get that book. All right, let's take a look at, first of all, this is a live look coming from downtown from the top of the DoubleTree Hotel. So less humidity in the air. It's comfortable today, at least somewhat. So go and get that. Of course, as we go into Friday, we're going to crank the heat back up. Tomorrow is not going to be bad. We're searching and searching for rain. And of course, as we just told you, tonight is likely going to be the best night for viewing the Perseid meteor shower. 72 as of noon hour. No wind to speak of, but this is your friend right here. That 53-degree dew point, so it is feeling nice and comfortable. Justin just talked about it, but we'll break it down in a little bit more detail. Perseid meteor shower continues to peak tonight, so the comet of origin is the Swift-Tuttle comet. That is where the Perseids come from, and we could see up to about 100 meters per hour, and the peak terminal velocity of the meteors will be about 37 miles per second. And of course, go out into the country, away from city lights. Best shot for viewing that tonight. Of course, if you get any pictures, send them our way on Facebook, Twitter. Of course, we might use them in the show tomorrow. Here we go. Satellite and radar composite, high pressure, your best friend pal right here. So this is going to keep us dry for the next couple of days. And this is the front that moved through last night. So that is why it is cooler, because we shoved that cold front through the area. Just a few clouds moving through right now, but no rain coming out of them. Future Scan shows you this. This is the cloud cover. And I wanted to show you this because this is by this evening. We should clear out to mainly clear skies. So this is why tonight's going to be the best night for viewing the meteor shower. Few more clouds come in overnight. Patchy Valley fog sets up once again. Then tomorrow we'll likely go to full sunshine, at least for at least a period in the afternoon. And then more clouds come our way, at least a few high clouds for Friday. And speaking about the rain, we know you're thirsty, people. We haven't had a lot of rain. This is over the past 7 days. Nothing at the Jamestown airport. So we do need the rain, but it's coming. Just hang on. We're going to get there. So the zone forecast, the inland areas today, temperatures likely around 80 degrees for some areas today. And there's going to be a lot of sunshine to go around. Now, Lake Erie shoreline, often one of the cooler spots. It's what I call diet summer air. It's less humid. Temperatures right around 80 degrees to the upper 70s at the water. Next 7 days are on your screen. A nice day on Thursday, Friday, 84, a little bit more muggy. Then, yeah, we get into those chance for storms once again for Saturday, Sunday. Monday, better chance for more widespread activity, which is something we need. But look at the temperatures go down into the lower 70s. And by the time Tuesday come around, it's going to be a lot less humid as well. We'll take a break and be right back. Want weather now? Download the WNY News Now mobile app and stay up to date on severe weather alerts. Plus, anytime hazardous weather strikes, stick with the Southern Tier's only 24/7 streaming network that keeps you safe. You're all in a tornado warning, so now is the time to go to a safe place, small room, lowest floor, near the center, away from Windows. What are you waiting for? Download the WNY News Now mobile app today. It's free in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
There's an old saying, there's no news in the newsroom. Well, it's true. The time I spend at the anchor desk is just part of my day. Most of our time is spent gathering stories in the community, stories that matter to you. We can't do it alone, and we need your help. When you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about, drop us a line on Facebook today, email our news desk, or call our newsroom at 488-7226 so we can bring those stories straight back to you.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
And welcome back. Tim Hortons is celebrating Camp Day today, which will help benefit disadvantaged kids in the U.S. and Canada. Blake Tarana, he's the owner of the local Tim Hortons chain here in Jamestown. He says the purchase of any hot or cold coffee goes to sending local kids to a Tim Hortons Foundation camp. He says the program has a major impact on youth here.
We've probably had 5 or 6 of them, the kids that went to camp, actually come back and work for us. We have one that still works for us today. She went when she was 12, I believe. And actually now the program's changed a little bit. It used to be you went for 1 year. Now what they do is they take you when you're 12 years old and you go for 5 years. So they take them and they basically every year is a different skill. And they try to build up their entire their attributes, so their character building and all that. So it feels good knowing that they come back, and some of the stories that we've heard at the national conferences and stuff of what people were the situations they came from and what they became was awesome.
Yeah, Tarana says community members can also make direct donations to the foundation at any Tim Hortons location nationwide. Unfortunately, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this year's camp was held virtually, but next year, officials are hoping to hold camp in person. Certainly, what a great way to support the youth of the community. And there are so many Tim Hortons locations, too, here around Jamestown that people can simply go, buy a coffee, and 100% of those proceeds go to the Camp Day Fund. Well, we thank everyone for joining us here for WNY News Now as we make our way through another week. Got to say hello to Gary. Great to see you here. Good to see Beverly, Sue, Roy as well, and Alex. Good afternoon to you. Hopefully everybody is having a good day. We appreciate you sticking with us. Let's get a final look here at our weather forecast with Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter. And Dakota, hopefully tonight will be a good night for checking out that meteor shower if people are interested.
Tonight will be a good night. Low temperatures tonight, much more comfier than past nights, 56 to 64. Now, we're going to be mainly clear early, so the Perseid meteor shower peaks between 10 p.m. and about midnight. So between that window, you should be okay, but more clouds will start to roll in overnight with valley fog setting up once again. But if you're searching for rain, we've got some by the weekend and into early next week. Justin?
All right. Certainly a lot of people are looking for that, Dakota, because they might be out trying to mow their lawn or even looking for some relief from the heat. Thank you, sir. That's going to do it for us today. Of course, news continues 24/7 at WNYNewsNow.com. We remind you, when you're on the go, stay in the know by downloading our mobile app. All you got to do is search WNY News Now in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. We leave you with a live look outside our downtown studio. We're back tomorrow. Hope to see you then.